Hey guys, welcome to Chickenlandia. I am the president of Chickenlandia, and today I want to talk about how and what to feed your chickens. So of course, today, like any other day, I need to do some work on the chicken coop. It is dirty. It actually smells a little bit like ammonia, which is not good. So if that ever happens, you need to remedy it very quickly. We need to replace the hose. I have not done it yet. And so I can't like just take things out of my chicken coop and spray it down so everything's really dirty. I'm working on it. What I'm doing right now is I'm scraping. I'm using a paint scraper to scrape the poop off of my ladder roost, which has gotten very pooped on. My chickens were being so loud that I literally had to kick them out of the coop. What if they don't let me back out? One thing that I really want to mention that is very important is that there are so many different ways to feed backyard chickens and so many different philosophies, and all of them, in my opinion, are okay as long as they don't involve any kind of abuse to the animals. I'm good with it. I am totally good with it. I have my way of feeding them. Some of the things that I feed them are on the expensive side. Not everybody can do that, and not everybody wants to do that, and that is okay. Whenever I see people getting really worked up about what you should feed chickens and what you shouldn't feed chickens, I try to remember that for literally thousands of years, chickens have had this wonderful symbiotic relationship with humans, where they basically just foraged for their own food and ate whatever humans had left over that they didn't eat. It's important to remember that chicken feed and chicken supplements and all of these things that we have now for our chickens, these things are relatively new. We have had a wonderful relationship with chickens for a really long time that didn't even involve us going to the store and buying feed. Now that doesn't mean I'm against buying feed. I feed my chickens really high quality feed. I enjoy doing that. I can do that. I make my vote for where I want animal feed to go by buying that feed. What I really want to say is if all you can do is have your chickens on pasture and feed them whatever your family doesn't eat, I think that's wonderful. And I think you should go for it. Because you know what? That means that those chickens that are living their life on that pasture and living their life with your family are not in a factory farm. And that's the goal. Double chicken, you're not supposed to be in there. Okay, I got my chickens at my feet. They are really not thrilled with me today because I decided to wait to feed them so that I could show you what I do. They're not happy. They'll live. So today I'm going to talk about how and what to feed adult laying hens. I'm not going to go into baby chicks. I do have a video about raising baby chicks the Chickenlandia Way, and you can find the link to that in my description. There are a few different types of feed for laying hens. You have crumble, pellets, and there's also some unprocessed feeds that are on the market that I think are great, including the feed that I am an ambassador for, which is scratch and peck feeds. As far as whether to use crumble or pellets, that's really a personal preference. You may find that your chickens prefer one over the other, and either one is absolutely fine for them. I feed my chickens a raw, unprocessed feed, and I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. This is the scratch and peck layer feed with corn. I mixed it with a little bit of water, and I'm going to show you more of that in a minute. But you'll see that it has whole grains, and it also has like a powder, and that is a very important part of this feed. I really like to ferment my feed, and if you want to learn more about how to do that, I'm going to put a link in the description to a video that very simply explains how to ferment your feed. It is so easy. I promise it is so easy. If I can do it, it's easy. It's a great way to get some extra nutrition into them. It's a great way to boost their digestive systems and their immune systems, and I think it's just really healthy for them. It's another way to make sure that they're getting all the parts of the feed if you are feeding a raw, unprocessed feed like scratch and peck feeds. But you can also water that feed down, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. Philippe just attacked me again. This chicken! This chicken! You're suspect, Philippe. You're suspect. Okay, so my chickens are 110% not happy with me right now. I knew I was doing this video today, so I decided to wait to feed them, and so they've been waiting longer than they normally do. So they're all in here. Like, why haven't you fed me yet? So this is the bowl that I use. It's a nice, pretty bowl. And I have a scooper here, my pink scooper. Scoop all that in there. And I am gonna add some water to it. Ah, get out of there. Oh my gosh. They are so mad. No, thank you, little stinker. Oh gosh. What do I have? I have like chicken feed all over me. No, you cannot have that yet. I'm just mixing it up to make sure that they eat all that powdery stuff. Remember, I have lots of chickens. They will be done with this feed by early afternoon time. There is a chicken in there eating, eating the feed. Little stinker, what are you doing in there? I could have closed you in there. I feed a 16% protein feed, and I think that's absolutely fine for them. I do supplement with grubs, especially in the late summer or early fall when they are molting. I think that's pretty important for them. Some people prefer the 18% feed for whatever reason, and depending on the type of chicken that you have, you might even go to a 20% protein feed, but for me, we do just fine with the 16%. A standard size adult chicken will probably eat about a half a cup of feed per day. Now that is going to vary, so there's going to be a little bit of experimentation on your part to figure out how much your flock will consume by early afternoon. Take it from me when I say chickens are so much fun, but you know what's not fun? Rats. Rats are not fun to have in your coop, to have around your house. We live in a subdivision, so if we got overcrowded with rats, that would not be a good thing. I would not blame our neighbors for complaining about that situation. A really good way and your first line of defense for controlling the rat population around your chickens is to make sure that you're only leaving out enough feed that they will finish by early afternoon. And then for the rest of the afternoon, they will peck and scratch, they will find little morsels. You just don't want feed and scraps from your kitchen around overnight, because that is a surefire way to have a rat problem in your chicken yard. I do get the question a lot, what can I feed my chickens through the winter so that they will keep laying? My answer to that question is it has a lot more to do with how much light is available to them during the day than what they're eating. So if you want your chickens to lay through the winter, really what you have to do is supplement light. I don't normally recommend supplementing light unless you are really needing them to lay through the winter. Let's say you have an egg business. Let's say you're like, you know what, I can't afford to have these chickens if I'm not selling eggs. In that case, I would say yes, supplement light. But for somebody like me, and if you have a flock of chickens that are leaning towards more being your pets, which is what my flock is, I would say one thing that you need to remember is if you push them to lay, they will lay a lot in the first year, definitely. In the first couple of years, maybe the first 3 years, they'll lay pretty well, but their laying life is gonna be shorter because they only have as many eggs in their bodies, just like people, that they were born with. They're not developing new eggs. They have an amount of eggs that they are going to lay in their lifetime, and once they've laid those eggs, that time is up. If they are birds that came from a hatchery, it's very likely that they've been bred to lay very well. So if you add that on top of supplementing light, then you are lowering their laying life expectancy, and you might actually be shortening their lives. Pac-Man, you are looking rough, girl. She's molting. You look like hot garbage. That's what my friend over at the city said would say. This is the gravity feeder that I use to supplement oyster shell. A common misconception is that chickens use oyster shell to crush up whatever they eat in their crop, and that is the first level of digestion. That's actually not true. That's what grit is for. You definitely need to supplement grit if your chickens don't have access to pasture. They will eat the grit. It goes into their crop. That's the first layer of digestion. Those little pebbles are going to crush up their feed so that they will have a healthy digestive system. That's not what oyster shell is for. Oyster shell is a calcium supplement. The reason I recommend oyster shell is because once your chickens are of laying age, they need extra calcium in order to make sure that they can develop nice, strong eggshells. You get an egg?
Is it broken or anything?
Is it gonna make it into the house not broken?
It's gonna make it into a house and turn into a chicken.
It's gonna turn into a chicken. I don't think so.
It is.
We're gonna eat it before it turns into a chicken.
No.
I think you should always offer your calcium supplement in a separate dish than you would their regular feed. Some people like to take the shells from their flock's eggs and crush them down and feed them back to the chickens as their calcium supplement. I think that's a great idea, and I think it's certainly cost effective. Now I'm wearing my X-Files hoodie again today. Whatever, haters, all day, every day. It's so dirty right now that I think I might have to take it outside and get like a brush and kind of scrub it down, even though I really don't feel like doing that today. Hashtag lazy.